And it says here in Matthew chapter 5, you've heard it said of those people of old times, thou shalt not kill. This is verse 21. You've heard it said by them of old times, thou shalt not kill. And whoever shall kill shall be in danger of the judgment. But I say to you, who's this that comes along and says, yeah, I know what those folks said to you from the old times, but see, they were walking in the dark. Now, I'm going to help you to walk in the light, and so I'm going to tell you why he's the light of the world. I'm going to tell you, you shall not kill, but he says, my word to you is this, if you're angry with your brother, you're a murderer. Oh Lord, help us. If you're angry with your brother, then you might just as well have killed him, because it's the same as murder. You can keep going on. There are many things he says. He said, the people of old times said to you, you shall not commit adultery. But he said, if you look upon a woman and there's a lust, there's a desire that rises up in you, you have committed the act. Come on. This is reality. How many times have I seen in a church, you know, somebody gets up and they give us a testimony. Well, glory to God. I've never committed adultery. You know, I've never committed adultery. I would have liked to have gone up to that man and said, now listen, would you tell me, honestly, have you ever looked upon a woman with any kind of desire in your heart for her? He probably would have said, well, I suppose I'd have to say yes. Well, then you're committed adultery. What are you standing up there trying to be somebody? You see? So you see that even in the midst of what is good, we have this other stuff. We've got the tares growing amongst the wheat. So in Jeroboam's case, the king is plotting against the king, which was Solomon. He was plotting against him, wanted to get rid of him. Why? He wanted the whole 10 tribes, because this prophet had told him that he was going to rule over 10 tribes. But you see, the plot fell through and he ended up running away to Egypt. His wife probably took him down there because she belonged to Egypt. Egypt is the place of it's the place of restriction. It's the place where you will be confined. It's a place where you will not be free. It is actually the place of slavery. And it represents the world to us. That's what Egypt represents. So in Egypt, God's people became slaves. Have you ever thought about how they became slaves? There was no conquering of the nation. There was no war whereby Israel was defeated to become slaves to Egypt. How did they become slaves? Well, they lived there for 400 years. And you live with somebody for 400 years, I guess you get a little bit like them, don't you? And Israel became involved in all of the idolatry of Egypt, all of the demonism, all of the evil spirits of the New Testament came from Egypt. Israel learned it way back there. Never forgot it. They carried it all the way through. So, the seed of God that has been put in us is now under threat because there's somebody else that's doing some sowing as well. And there are tares that are coming up amongst the wheat. So now we've got a problem. Because the king's word now has not been kept by God's people. So instead of listening to what God has to say, we have done what we've wanted to do. Turn to Galatians chapter 4. Galatians chapter 4, verse 1. He says, "Now I say that the heir, as long as he is a child, differs nothing from a servant." The heir. In England we have several princes that are born into the royal family. The prince, any one of those princes, when they were 6 years of age, all the servants in the palace, all the servants and all the workers had to speak to them as master. That was how they had to address him. Master. He's 6 years of age. Well, he's a prince. He's a prince. But see, his mother, father, the mother's the Queen of England. I mean, I don't know how many billion dollars she's got, but she must have a lot anyway. And royal land, of course, that belongs to her. In Australia, we have what we call Crown territory. A lot of it, and I don't know how that works now, whether she is still owner, actually, of Crown land. But you see, that little boy, six years of age, if her mother happened to die, you think he's going to inherit all that stuff? They're going to give him the millions of dollars that the Queen owns? Is he going to become the owner of all of this land? He's a child. Nobody's going to give him $1 million. I mean, he'd make himself sick on ice cream, wouldn't he? That's about what he would do. He's a child, but he's a prince. How many of you people here today, you are a prince? You are the Israel of God. Amen. You are Zion, not the human natural line of Israel. We are the Israel of God. Yes. And in Galatians chapter 3 and verse 16, what does he say? To Abraham and his promises were made, not to seeds as of many, but to one seed, which is Christ. So Christ is the one that's to inherit all things. You are an heir of God. You're an heir of God. You are a joint heir with Jesus Christ. Think about that. What is God? What does he own? What are we going to inherit? Well, I don't want to destroy your theology this morning, but I want to tell you, you're not going to inherit heaven. Nowhere in this book do we told we're going to inherit heaven. We're going to inherit this earth.
That's right. Amen.
This is our real estate.
Yes, it is.
And just think what it would cost. In Australia, there was a man that bought a house for $50, probably 80 years ago in Australia. And it was right on the edge of the beach. And it was about an acre of ground. And this little bungalow place there that's been falling down, and they put new paint on it. They've tried to nail the boards back up that were falling off it. And it went up for auction. And what do you think it sold for? $5 million. What, for that house? No, for the land.
That's right.
You just put a bulldozer in there, push the house off. It's the land. $5 million. Think of what this earth is worth today. Think of what the real estate is worth. But see, how many of us are still struggling financially? We're struggling financially. We're heirs to everything God owns, for goodness sake. We're heirs to it all. But we're still children. And therefore, because we're children, we are